Mr. Transformers 96 here in the video, and I'm going to be talking about some newly shown items from Tokyo Comic-Con. So Comic-Con is of course going on in Tokyo, and therefore we're getting some new figures being shown. In this video I'm specifically talking about the Star Wars figures that interest me that have been shown from both Figuarts as well as Tamashii Nations. So this is quite exciting because there's some really nice characters that they're doing that we haven't seen before, and as far as SH Figuarts goes, Grievous was the one that I was probably most looking forward to. I'm a big fan of Grievous, and I have been very interested to see their rendition of him, considering their style I think suits Grievous quite a bit compared to a lot of other characters. But going over the actual figure, I believe this is the first time we're actually seeing the figure. I think that they did have like a little like a cardboard cutout kind of picture of him just to let you know that he was coming in past Comic-Cons, and here's our first actual look at the figure itself, and the figure looks great, of course. Sculpting wise, I think that it does look very nice. His style, his design is of course very robotic and smooth, which I think just for any toy company makes it a little bit easier to do him. But the cape looks excellent. I really do like it. I'm hoping there is a wire in there. I can't tell if it is. It does look to be a bit rigid the way that it's posed to the sides, so part of me thinks that there might be a wire. That would be fantastic, but it might not. Overall, I think the way that it kind of bulks up towards the top, although it doesn't make a ton of sense as though because it should be just hanging off the arms, I think it actually looks really nice. His arms look quite bulky as they are, like the arms fully put together. I do hope and expect that he will come with either interchangeable arms, or these arms will be able to split out and to form the forearms, of course, that he has in the film. But overall, I think that it does look nice just with the two arms too. But I think the forearms is, of course, the one that we'd all pose him with, I think. But overall, he does look really nice. No lightsabers here. It's a very standard pose. I don't collect a whole lot of Figuarts. I do have several Figuarts figures, and I think that this one would be one that I'd make an exception on and get, because I just, again, big fan of Grievous, and I think that Figuarts is a great company to do him, especially with their really advanced articulation. I think that they'll fit his design and his style of poses a lot better. From what I can see, the articulation looks nice. It's hard to get a good glimpse of the articulation, considering he's rather robotic, so some of the pieces are, what you'd expect, especially the elbows. Like, it looks like those are two separate ball joints at the elbows, because of course his arms are attached, so I don't think he's going to have the greatest articulation when his arms are together. Now, of course, once you split the arms, then they should have a nice range, from what I can tell. It's hard to see anything in the torso. I do believe there is torso articulation. It's just hard to get a good look. But he looks great standing against all the new droids that are coming out. They're doing the battle droids as well as the super battle droids. Those all look quite cool, especially the super battle droids, I have to say. Not many companies do them, and they have neat designs, so it is nice to see Figuarts doing ones like that. But again, like, those type of characters don't really need the super articulation that Figuarts provides. However, Grievous, of course, is a character that does need that articulation, and therefore I think this could be a really cool one. It'd be cool if he came with some interchangeable, like interchangeable face with battle damage. That would be super cool, and of course the interchangeable arms and all four lightsabers, of course. So yeah, so that would be awesome to see. Moving over to a company that's rather similar, making kind of import Star Wars figures. It's the Tamashii Nations, which is really cool because they of course do like the samurai style designs of the characters, and there's been one character that they've shown a picture of almost for like 2 years now. It feels like every single convention, whenever they show anything, they always have a picture of the concept art for the IG-88 figure that they're eventually going to do, and I've really given up hope on them ever doing it, but here it is. They finally have a prototype on display. It's certainly taken long enough, but I will say that it's worth the wait. It looks really cool. Some of these designs I've been interested in, but I'm not big on like the whole samurai design. It's fun and all, but nothing's really enticed me much. But this one I think actually looks fantastic. I do love, of course, the bounty hunters from The Empire Strikes Back. IG-88 is, of course, among them, and his design translates so well into like a samurai type of look. I think that it's super cool. I love the little like kind of hat piece that they've put on him, considering his head does kind of sprawl out like that a little bit, but they've of course just made it more extreme to kind of give it a hat-like look, which I think is very cool. I love the angles in him, especially in his legs, the way that the thighs kind of bend in and then they warp outwards towards the bottom. I think that looks super fantastic, especially with the arms here, how they warp to the side. I think that he has just such a cool stance to him, and again, I think that he just translates into a really cool looking like samurai design. It would be very cool if they did other versions, other bounty hunters. They've done Boba Fett before, but it would be awesome if they were to do Bossk and Dengar, Forlom, or Zuckuss. Those would be really cool. I think Forlom could translate pretty neatly. But overall, this is probably the best one I've ever seen from this company. I don't know if I'd get it just because I don't plan on getting any of the other ones, so he'd kind of just be a piece on his own, he wouldn't fit in super well with anything. But I love the design on its own. I think that it does look fantastic, and it's a really cool look for IG-88. I think that it's extremely unique, and again, I've always admired it every time I see the concept art, so to see the final product, or at least the prototype, is really quite spectacular, because I think they nailed it. Looks even better than the concept art, and the concept art looked fantastic. So overall, I'm very impressed with their IG-88 figure, and I do hope they continue. I won't dwell on it, but they did show Kylo Ren. He looks okay. He looks kind of standard, similar to the Darth Vader that they did. The way that his lightsaber has kind of been transformed into like a sword is kind of cool. But yeah, nothing too special in my opinion. It's a neat design, but it kind of strays far from the original source material. This one, though, I think really pays a nice homage to the original one while making it its own thing. So yeah, overall, these two Star Wars figures I think look really fantastic. I absolutely plan to get General Grievous, and I'll be very interested to follow IG-88. Maybe I'd end up getting him, but just because of the fact that he doesn't fit with much in my collection, I don't know if I will. But overall, two very cool figures from two very cool companies. Let me know what you guys think of them, and thanks so much for watching.